Okay, who do we got? Sports Director 2117. So I saw a 3-minute game. Hope my mouse will be okay. I had problems with my mouse earlier tonight where I just couldn't move pieces. But okay, we have the French defense. The Winawer variation, bishop e4, and he plays knight g to e2. Actually knight e2 because the other knight can't move, so the correct notation is knight e2, but usually people write knight g to e2. And this is what I play against it. It looks cramped, but after a castle and go f6, knight f5, I'm gonna get some pressure on his position. I actually think this is quite a good line for black with easy play. Castles, f6, etc. I'm leading in development. I mean, he has to move his knight again or go g3 to castle, and I will have easy play. And if he's not careful, I'll get some attack on his on the center. Okay, you can do that, but I'm gonna play f6. Okay, it's the take. What to do now? f4. It's highly committal. We'll go bishop d7. And my idea is to put the knight on e7 and f5. Once I go knight e7, I'm also blocking knight a4, so if he wants to get my bishop on b6, he has to do it now with knight a4. Then he also has to calculate some stuff. He goes for g3, wants to castle. I think I'll go here now. And now I can I preserve this bishop. I have knight f5 ideas. He can't take on d5, so I'm going to go a5. Giving him something to think about. Don't have to worry about this e6 pawn. 2 attackers, 2 defenders. I can play knight f5 if there's further pressure on this. Yeah, he gets... Okay, I'm thinking about rerouting my knight here. Going here. Then I can go to d6 and jump into either c4 or e4. He takes the knight. That surprised me a little bit. I'm going to take with the queen. I attack the c2 pawn. I have the bishop here, but it does have some outposts for his knights. I'm gonna go here and pin this knight. Before, if I did it before with the queen on f6, maybe he had knight takes d5 at some point, maybe. Now I might go for something like bishop b5. Because he takes, I take the queen. And now I might improve my queen, my bishop a little bit with bishop. Here I can also take on c3. Let's see which pawn he takes with. He takes e5. He has to go d takes e5 to have something evil there. Bishop c4. It just feels like. Well, okay. If I take, he has to take with a knight. There's nothing there, so let's go here. I'm behind on the clock. Maybe I have ideas of d4 at some point with bishop d5 coming next. Goes knight b1. Let's go rook here. We can repeat moves. We could go bishop e3 now. It almost wins stuff. But it doesn't. Let's double the rooks. Maybe I shouldn't have allowed that. King f7. I want to go g6 to secure this a little bit more. Let's go here. Threaten to take the knight. Goes to c5. I'll take it and double here on the 7th. I'll go here. Still threatening to take. Can he repeat? No, he can't repeat moves with knight d1. Okay, that move. Okay, I take now. And let's hope this does accomplish something. Maybe rook a2 is coming next. And he can't defend the pawn at first glance at least. Okay, attack the rook, and now I can take the knight next move. He has knight a1, but it's ugly. It's really ugly. Knight a3 also. Maybe at probably get a winning ending here. Probably get a winning ending. Let's go here. Should be a winning ending. Just b6, c5. Yeah. I just have to hurry. I'm running out of time here. Kick the king away. Let's bring our king over to the queen side. It's giving me problems. Let's go here. I want to collect these pawns. It was a cheeky move. I can go back here. Pre-move this. Now I can pre-move h6, g5, etc. Let's go, mouse. Work on me now. Work for me. I thought he might try that. Let's go here. He's got plenty of time though, that's a problem. I can't finish this in time. So it gets a draw, but I think I played a good game. Sometimes we have to accept these draws. In 3-minute chess, unfortunately. But I think I played a great game. And I outplayed him. And that should be more important, to play good chess, because, you know, 3-minute chess, in 3-minute games you will have some accidents. So now I will play the English opening, which I like. He's playing really fast. You see that now, he's only using 3 seconds, 4 seconds. So, let's see, symmetrical English. This isn't much for white, to be honest, but the hope is always that you can outplay, lower its opponent in these positions. I actually quite like the setup for black. I think it's very sensible. Yeah, I have to want to get rid of this knight. We have to exchange. No, it isn't much. But let's see what we can do. Okay, I want to be ready for the opening of the d file. Not sure I want to go b file just yet. Always has this knight e5 move that I have to reckon with. Okay, now I'm going to bring my king over to e2 to cover the d3 pawn, which is always vulnerable if he plays knight e5. And after I have done that, I can start thinking about attacking stuff on my own with like knight b5, knight e4 maybe, stuff like that. And also, you know, potential moves like b5 and then a4, a5. Well, knight b5 is a double attack now. So he was a bit careless there. I think this should be working. Because rook e8, I just go back to b5 and I cover the a3 pawn. So with just one cheap pawn there. Maybe, yeah. So now we're doing quite well. Don't want to take it, go knight c3, he takes here, I take on t5. I get another pawn, but he comes here. I go here first, what does it do? I want to see how he likes it if I play here. f6. Okay, I'm also hitting the bishop on e7. I think I like this. Let's get a really active knight here on the central files. Okay, that move I don't actually like for him. Take with the pawn. Yeah, I also completely missed. Yeah, f6 made e6 vulnerable, so now knight c7. I can go to e6 with check. But now he has check here. But it's not so great for him, I think. Because d5 is hanging and I'm threatening e6. Now I covered c3 also, so I have options with the knight, but if rook c8 I will probably just take on d5 and I'm up 2 pawns. He just resigned. There's 19 minutes till the server restarts, so let's see just what we can get done in the meantime. I'm curious to see if he will play the same variation, because I think he just did not get a very good position. I always played this variation against this. Okay, it takes on d5 now. Slightly different. And knight there, okay. Knight f5 now, I can take here, so I think I'll just castle now. And bishop d3. Okay, if bishop f5 takes, you take d5. I can take on d4. And I'm slightly ahead in development, so it must be okay. But can you take with this knight on d5? Maybe, maybe not. Either way. Okay. I think I take with a bishop on d4 now. If I take with a knight, well, I can do that also. Knight takes b6, pawn takes here. Because you can never play any moves like g4, because I always have knight takes e3 if I need it. And I like knight takes b6 because 8 takes b6 activates my rook. Okay, place there's I think I'll take it now. Maybe now, if you got the, I'll go c6. Maybe now I can keep this bishop, and it's a slightly better minor piece. That's my hope. Okay, knight b5. I'm threatening this pawn. I'm threatening to wreck his structure with bishop takes e3. I don't mind the ending. I'm wondering with which rook I will take. Queen g4. Wants to play knight f5. But I can also take here and take on c3. He goes knight h5. g6. I'm gonna risk coming under a little bit of an attack here. I just don't see him having anything super forced. g6, knight f6 is... Ugh. Queen c8 now, maybe? Queen c8 first. My idea is if Queen g3, I take on c3, and now e2 is with check, winning the queen. Queen g5, okay. But if I move like, do I have a move like f6 now, or h? I want to play f6 so it doesn't have queen e5. We still take this pawn. Where does the queen go? c5, okay. Queen goes to c5. So probably this move I would rather play. Okay, queen goes there, now I can take. And what does he do? What does he do? He loses the queen. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. I liked the queen c8 move there. I liked it. Should we see if he wants a rematch? There's probably only time for one more. Should be only time for one more. No, he has left the chat. Cancel. So okay, maybe I'll have a post-mortem. The server is shutting down in 14 minutes, so maybe I'll fire up ChessBase and have a look at the games there, if we have a post-mortem. If not, I'll see you later, but we do have a post-mortem. I'll see you in a few. Okay, let's have a look at the first game. Just W first, of course. Boom and boom. I got it. Okay. So this was the first game. We played French. I'm black. E4, E6, D4, D5. Knight C3, and I played bishop B4, which is the Winawer variation. If knight F6, we have different lines. Usually white goes E5 here. But knight G to E2 or knight E2 belongs to some side lines that are playable, like bishop D2, A3, queen D3, bishop D3, the pawn takes D5. I think I more or less named them all. And here I like to play this move, knight C6. Haven't really studied it. It's just something that I picked up somewhere along the line, and I only had this played against me, I think, once in a tournament game, but of course hundreds of times in Blitz chess. And the universal reaction here is to go A3, B5, A3, bishop A5, B4, bishop B6. Okay, in the first game he went E5 here, and I quite like black here. I think, should I go F6? Because maybe you should go bishop G5 here. He went bishop E3, but now I have easy play with knight F5 and castle and F6. When I both undermine his center here, and his rook here get some life on the F5. We played queen D2, and now I took on E3, which I don't have to do immediately, because the bishop isn't moving anywhere, because knight takes D4. But okay, maybe I was afraid of him going bishop G5 at some point, so I took the bishop. He took with the queen. Now I castled, just ready to play F6. I think my position is fine here. Let's see real quick what the computer thinks. It's off screen, but it's giving me a very comfortable advantage over half a pawn. After this, now I played F4. Yeah, the computer thinks I'm gonna shut it down again. Computer thinks I am comfortably ahead. I do have the bishop pair. It's not a big factor at the moment, but I also have a lead in development. And I just think I find this position just fine for black. He's at D7. Because, you know, we have activity on the F file. You know, with the queen and the rook. We have pressure on the D pawn. All these pieces. And we have the potential to go like A5. And which happened in the game, which could activate this rook here. And also put pressure on these pawns here. On A3 and B4, especially if it goes B5. You know, this looks bad. Okay, so he went G3 here. I don't see any other way to develop this bishop here. that's what I did. Because if the knight moves, then the f4 pawn here isn't protected, so g3, now knight e7, covering the a4 square, so he's not going to get my bishop here. I always talk about the bishop pair. I want to keep this bishop, because I feel like we have some undermining opportunities, like happened in the game. I played a5, okay, I played bishop h3, I played a5, that's one of the undermining opportunities. If he castles, you know, we also have this pressure on d4, and there are always some tactical opportunities, not right now, but in the future, maybe based on e5 and utilizing the pin that the king will have, the king and the queen on this diagonal where I have this bishop. I think I'm doing pretty well here. I went knight f5. It just stands better on f5 than on c6. On f5, we're eyeing this e3 square, and also we keep attacking this d4 square. And another big idea is that then I can go to d6 and jump into c4, or if it's possible to e4. Most likely c4 at the moment. Most likely he didn't want to give me these opportunities, and he took this knight. I took with the queen, and the reason I did that, well, the pawn is hanging, but strategically, if I had to take with the pawn, let's imagine that this pawn is protected. This means that my bishop will have a bit limited scope, and the only option for the bishop is to go like here and here. But if I take with the queen, now if the bishop comes here, I have two options. I can go to h5 and also to g6. And then from g6 I have this diagonal, and potentially the e4 square also could be an outpost for the bishop. So just keeping options open, it's a better structure. We also keep options open on this f5, and we can imagine a break or lever like g5, maybe at some point. So I think it's the correct decision. We can see what the computer thinks. Of course, computers don't think strategically, but I still think the computer will confirm my choice. Yeah, it has queen takes. Yeah, okay. I thought it was slightly. Yeah, of course, d5 is hanging, so it's irrelevant. Yeah, I said it before. So we were just thinking strategically there. So of course I have to take with the queen. But strategically, if let's say I had pawn c6, I still want to take with the queen. Rook d2, I was attacking the c2 pawn. Now I took b4, and I wanted to activate the rook. Rook a3. And here it just feels like there should be tactics in the air. King g2, because now we have lots of pins. The bishop pins a d4 pawn, the rook pins the knight, and also this pawn is pinned. The queen and the rook lining up here. So, you know, maybe we just... I wonder if we have something here. Yeah, I'm thinking about like e5, but you can take the queen. And queen h3 doesn't seem to do anything really harmful. Let's have a quick look. I don't think it's anything. Takes with the queen. King g1. I don't see how I can use the pins here to my advantage. So probably it's nothing. See real quick what the computer thinks about this position. I think it's interesting. No, it doesn't seem to be a tactical solution. In fact, it likes my move bishop b5, which introduces some tactical ideas. I'm introducing another pin. So that's probably a personal record, 4 pins. Pinning the knight, pinning this knight. This pawn is pinned, but you know, nothing really going on there. And this is pinned. So personal record, 4 pins. Let's see. This looks like a really tough position for white. Really tough. It's hard to suggest a move. So, you know, when you have these, it's hard to play with all these pins and stuff. So, it's a very natural solution what it did to seek to simplify the position. So I went queen e5. I took it. Now he can't take with the f pawn. He took with the d pawn. But if he takes here, can you see it? Well, he can take a b5, but okay, win the exchange. If I take here, if he takes with the king, I take on c3, utilizing one of the pins. So maybe he goes like here. Now I can protect the rook, and I'm up the exchange, and I should win this game, even though we still have to finish it. But I took with the d pawn. Now my bishop is attacked, so I went to c4. Don't see any great advantage in taking, so I went to c4. It was also possible to take on c3, but that didn't seem like an exchange that I wanted. So bishop c4, knight b1. Now rook a1, maybe rook a4. That's also possible. But I just have this feeling that I missed something, you know, almost decisive in this game. Let's see, bishop e3, rook d1. We probably win a pawn here with bishop e3. I went rook f2, a8. Which the computer likes. I'm playing like a machine. Rook f2, a8. Now knight d4. And here I missed bishop a2, yeah. I just had, yeah. I have so much activity with my pieces, the great bishops, the books. I had this feeling all along that I was missing something easy, and here it is. Just one more pin. It's like a game of 1,000 pins, and this pin would have decided to win a piece here. But I missed it. King f7, knight b3. Went rook a2, threatening to take on b3, knight c3 now, rook b2. And what, rook b1, I took it. And finally, bishop e3, rook d1, and now win a pawn here on c2. Can't defend it. And this should have been decisive, but okay, here I definitely blew it. Or did I? Okay, I knew I could go for the winning ending, but should there be something easier here? Seems like I should be able to win something here. Let's cheat and use the comp. Rook a2, but what if... Yeah, of course, hello. I'm attacking 2 pieces if he takes. I can take on e1, wow. I can also just take on c4 because the line I was thinking about was somehow I saw this, rook b2, and now takes. Well, this works also. I'm just completely blind here. What's going on? So everything wins here. Wow. But yeah, what I did was fine. The problem was it was just too slow. I'm up a pawn, and this should decide, and it did, but it was just way too slow, and he managed to flag me. Okay, so let's go over to game number 2, where I had the white pieces. And okay, very innocent opening. We both fianchetto our bishops and kind of do the same thing with c5. So it's called symmetrical English for a reason. It's a symmetrical pawn structure. But here we take slightly different approaches. I go a3 b4. He goes b6 bishop b7. Okay, he goes knight d7. I protect the bishop, the knight. These positions, I mean, they're really quiet. We still have all the pawns and not much contact between the armies. But there are always chances in the late middle game and end game. And I just trust. I think my strengths are in these kind of positions. And okay, we simplify here. e6, rook ft1. Why rook ft1? I just think that this could be vulnerable after d5 in the future, and maybe I will push myself. I find that unlikely though at the moment, but just felt like I should defend d3 here. Queen f6, and here I didn't mind taking. I felt like I had, you know, I had moves like knight b5. I like king f1. You know, we're getting close to an endgame, so nothing wrong with just bringing the king to the center. Probably I missed knight b5 here immediately, but I had this mini plan of king e2, and I just went ahead and executed it, and then I noticed this knight b5. And I just think I'm slightly better placed here, because I have the potential. Okay, here of course I can win a pawn with knight b5. But I also have chances of going like a4, a5. Then my rook is quite okay placed here if the b file is opened. I think overall my two rooks here are slightly better than his here. And at the moment it's not relevant, but I mean, these are all on black squares, and maybe I can have a good bishop to attack them. You know, we can imagine, you know, if this opens up, you know, maybe an endgame there's a route like this to attack a pawn. So that's always relevant, you know. If you have a black squared bishop, ideally you would want the pawns on light squares. He does here on the king side, which looks really nice. Knight b5. Win the pawn here, bishop b7, to come back, and d5. And here, bishop c3, and f6 is probably a bad move. Yeah. Maybe I just have knight c7 here immediately. I might win an exchange. There's a possibility I don't want to give up too many pawns. I can take immediately. Yeah, probably I'll do this. He takes here, I'll take here. Yeah, and he's down a whole rook, so he has to take. Probably take with the bishop. Now the question is, what do I do? Maybe just bishop d2 or e1. I'm up the exchange, yeah, and the pawn, so probably should have done this immediately. Instead I took here, I took back, pawn takes here, noticed knight e6. Yeah, and here just resigned, we're going to win another pawn, and I have an overwhelming position. So that was a rather quick game, and yeah, the last one as well actually. So we repeated this line with knight e2, knight c6, a3, bishop a5, b4, bishop b6. But now he took on d5. He wasn't happy with the first game, so that's usually what happens when we play a series of games. I tend to repeat the lines. Bishop e3, knight g into e7, knight f4. And here I castled. Bishop d3. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about this position. If my bishop f5 is working, I think you might have knight c takes d5. No, I don't see. I thought like he had this, but no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Why is this so horribly bad? Bishop takes d4. Why is this so horribly bad? This goes here. Queen d5 with a double attack. Attack the bishop, attack the pawn. So this is from the computer, just checking. But okay, bishop f5, bishop takes, knight takes. Knight c takes d5. Now I went knight on c takes d4. If this, I was going to take with a pawn. Or was it? No. Yeah, I was going to do that, take with a pawn. I feel like I can just take an e3 at a good moment, so maybe it takes here. And I felt like this would be slightly better for me because of this weakness on e3. I marked the rook already on this file. And have a, yeah. You can kick the knight away though, so maybe even queen takes d4 is stronger. Yeah, it's probably stronger. Attack the knight. He takes, I take here. He has to deal with this. And that's actually not so easy. You know, he castles king side, queen side, I can go knight b5, probably win the pawn. And if he protects the pawn, rook d8 should be, well, he does have knight d3 here. But it's more comfortable for black, definitely. Instead he castles, and I will take here. Knight has to take back. If he takes with the pawn, I think I have a slight advantage because of the structure. I have the better structure. Let's say here. Yeah, well, I should be careful about c4 actually, that's true. Should be careful here. Maybe this knight f5. Attack the pawn on e3. And yeah, what will happen is he has 3 pawn islands versus my 2. And usually when that happens, you have some weak pawns, and this e3 pawn is really weak. He takes on b6, pawn takes. I can attack 2 weaknesses. Black is definitely better. So here c6, I'm stopping him coming into d5, and also maybe I want to activate this bishop on this diagonal. I felt like at this point I was slightly better because of this minor piece, which can in the end game also harass these pawns. c3, knight b5, and queen g4. Interesting. I took on e3, I was slightly worried here about knight f5. For instance, I can't protect the pawn here because of this. And queen g6, knight e7 is embarrassing. And I definitely don't want to play a move like this. Oh, that's unnecessary, but might be okay, but in a blitz game you're afraid of this. So I went here and queen c8. I think this was interesting. If he takes, we have a similar situation as before, where black has the better pawn structure and can attack the weaknesses in white's camp. And yeah, he went here and now h6. Here I thought queen c5 was the best move, protecting c3, and maybe maybe I don't have much here, if anything at all. Yeah, I probably don't have much here. Instead queen c3, but now I can take the pawn. And he fell for it with knight h5, knight e2. So let's see what the computer thinks here after queen c5. Yeah, just slight advantage for black, not much. Wants to put something on e8. Right now it's saying the queen. Switching between the queen and the rook. So this is a natural move, I guess. We have b6. This maybe slightly better for black, but I was fortunate that he fell for this trick. Yeah, and it's already much better here since I won the pawn. So yeah, decent games. Finally played okay. Played okay in these games, I think. Yeah, thanks for watching these games. Hope you watch. Hope you learned something, and if you didn't, then I hope you at least enjoyed it. I will see you later. Bye bye.